too much of the positive. Now, I want to get into one more story about the Big 12 in Mexico. Dennis Dodd had a tweet earlier about Mexico, Ross Dellinger earlier, Joseph Duarte earlier about the Big 12 having competition in Mexico. On the site earlier today, there was a question about why. All right, I'm going to give you a couple of reasons historically why this is a good idea. And don't think that the Big 12 is going to just go to Mexico without having sponsors lined up for whatever they do, whether it's a weekend tournament, one game, two games, a football game in a couple of years or whatever. The Dallas Cowboys went into the state of Arizona before there was an NFL team. The Cardinals were in St. Louis. Am I right? Mm-hmm. Went into Arizona and marketed themselves. They were a fledgling franchise at the time, brand new, started in 1960. Other than maybe the Cardinals when they are really good, is there anyone more popular in the state of Arizona and maybe still the most popular franchise than Dallas?
What I would, if somebody disagrees with me, then I will say when the Cardinals play the Cowboys in Glendale at that stadium, you tell me when it's louder when something happens.
All right, but you could say that about the games at AT&T when it's the Packers or the Steelers fans. In other words, there's a big chunk of fans.
There's a big chunk.
Right?
There's a huge chunk of it. Yeah.
So not just because of the location attached to the southern part of Texas, who's the most popular franchise in Mexico City?
The Cowboys.
There are about 10,000 season tickets that come out of the country of Mexico in the Cowboys season tickets. What Big 12 might do is, it took a while, but that might be what they're doing, is scratching something that's there that has never really been scratched before when it comes to collegiate athletics. And so there's one of what I'm saying, a good reason why not get ahead of the curve. You never know what that might develop. And there's 20-something million people that live in Mexico City.
Yeah, and can we also allow people, if they don't necessarily agree with Brett Yormark on everything, to just have that opinion and not be like, well, are you not on board with? And because I do see it's like, almost if you're just not agreeing with everything as a good idea, it's like, well, what do you, so I understand people's position of like, what does this do for you? Like, I asked this question yesterday, but there's part of your answer is, you're growing fans, you're hopefully planting some seeds, and I wondered, like, are you hoping to get Mexican athletes down the line, like people who come in and play basketball, football, run track, play baseball, all that? I think there's some element to that. But I think the thing that's probably hard for people to grasp is I don't see like this immediate overnight change that it makes. Like, that's the thing, is This is not a 2 years from now they're like getting these bullions of riches from Mexico because they play a couple games. This is a over 10 years, 20 years, hopefully the Big 12's around and they will have cultivated this relationship and they're hopefully is reciprocating, and you have, whether it's athletes or it's fans or it's money or it's, big time exhibition games or whatever. Merchandise. There's these things that come into play. But I think what's hard for people to kind of, at least for me too, initially wrap my head around is like, what does this do for you right now? It's not a right now thing necessarily, as much as it is a long-term thing.
And I am not by any means sniffing Brett Yormark because he's unbeaten and he can't do anything wrong. That is just something that came to my mind while thinking about it.
I wasn't pointing the finger at you. No, I know. I'm saying in general.
Well, I'm just saying that maybe there's a way you get into a territory, an area, before anyone else does, and you never know. And I'm sure they've probably done some studies on that too.
Yeah, look, short term, there's really only one goal. You sold it to some sponsors, you're going to have some money in your pocket, and you'll see how it goes. It'll probably, especially if you do it right, will work out pretty well. The thing that is, I think, a negative for this is, okay, Kansas and Houston playing in Mexico City is not really great news for their fans.
No.
Like, they're not, people aren't going to get on a plane and fly to Monterrey or Mexico City to go watch one basketball game. But I don't think Brett Yormark is interested in that. That's not what this is about. This is, like you said, Craig, long term, he wants Mexican fans in that stadium filling that up. When the Cowboys played preseason games down there, or when the NFL plays preseason games and they have regular season there too, they're not counting on the season ticket holders of the teams that go down there to all jump on planes and go watch the game in Monterrey. They're counting on the fact that they're the NFL and that they have fans in that country, whether Mexico, Germany, England, whatever. They're going to walk into the thing. When the Major League Baseball plays games in Japan, when the A's and Seattle Mariners open the season there, they're not thinking that, look at all these season ticket holders that flew to Japan. No, they have fans there. That's what he's hoping to build. In the short term, who knows how that will be? Like, who knows how they'll sell it? Who knows whatever? But you're still going to have sponsors that are paying you to do it. So you'll have a little short-term financial gain, and hopefully for them it works out long-term.
And there are a lot of Americans, or even some that are expatriates, not to mention other countries that need they're in Mexico City. So there is a little bit of that is there, of those who maybe can't go and watch an NFL or a college game that would go to that game. So, and it's not very far away. Now, it's not like around the corner, but Waco is a 2 hours driving closer to Mexico City than it is to drive to Salt Lake City. So it's not like it's around the corner, but there are some advantages there.
I can tell you right now, the only way I'm driving to Mexico City is if somebody throws me in the back of their friggin' trunk.
Well, they may do that.
Yeah.
They may, if they do that, it may not be. We may never see you again.
Look,
yeah.
I'm not. There's no way in hell I'm driving there.
Yeah.
No
Denzel
way.
would be coming after me. Like, that would be.
Yeah, Denzel, the equalizer, who would beat John Wick in a fight. All right, we get into that too much, I know. So